Some of you might have heard, but I released a video a few weeks ago that kinda did numbers. The climax of that challenge was conquering the fire area without any kind of protection against the heat, an accomplishment I'm still really proud of. After bashing my head against the wall for a few weeks in October, I finally realized that you could make steady progress in extreme heat by saving, dying, and respawning. It was slow progress to be sure, and required quite a bit of patience on my end, but it worked. A lot of people have commented that they knew about this exploit, which is really cool. I never claimed to have invented it, I just didn't see it documented anywhere as a good solution to surviving the heat. I'm happy I could give this boneheaded strategy the spotlight it deserved in a video that popular, but it's been brought to my attention since then that there are quite a few alternatives to dying and respawning. Are they better than my method? Let's find out. First, we hit the honorable mentions, which are proposed solutions that wouldn't really work in practice. A few of you guys suggested that I fuse a sapphire or one of Nadra's pieces to my shield. And by a few of you, I mean over 20 people independently corrected me on this oversight. It was enough for me to do a double take and wonder if I'd actually messed something up while testing back in October. Had I really missed something this obvious? It turns out, fusing cold items to your sword or shield only helps you survive heat to a certain extent, like the desert. It doesn't protect you against flammable regions like Death Mountain. I'm not sure why so many unrelated people think this works, but here's the footage. I don't know what to tell you. Another common suggestion was dubious food, and I have a few thoughts here. First of all, the spirit of the challenge was scarcity, so I only wanted to cook and eat food that's food, you know? I know you can cook monster guts and bicycle wheels and anything you want into items that heal a few hearts, but that wasn't something I wanted to do for this challenge. There's also the question of how useful it would even be for the fire area specifically. I assume you guys suggested dubious food for damage tanking, but that wouldn't be as helpful as you'd think. Let's talk numbers. I ran a few tests making dubious food, and it averages out to about 5 seconds per forbidden cuisine. You can only hold 60 dishes at a time, so that makes this math really simple. It takes 5 minutes of cooking to make 60 tumultuous tater tots. But the conversion isn't as gnarly as you'd think. You see, each radioactive nugget only heals 1 heart, and you lose 1 heart every second you're on fire. Once again, easy math. 60 dubious food buys you an extra minute of life in the fire area. So you're spending 5 times as long cooking as you are making actual progress. And that's not even counting travel time to and from the cooking pot, which isn't exactly conveniently located. With that in mind, I'm gonna label the dubious food method as completely inferior to the strategy I went with in my video. It just doesn't offer any real benefits in my opinion. Sure, it's helpful for traveling longer distances, but I cooked actual food for that in the challenge. Another common criticism I got was that I didn't farm blue chew jellies. You can become invulnerable to fire for 20 seconds if you splash your feet with them. This is definitely helpful, I'm not arguing there, but there is one big problem. Where the heck do you get blue chew jellies in the depths? When I got the first wave of comments about this, I was terrified that I'd overlooked something this simple. But then I went to check for myself, and I couldn't find any documented sources of blue chew jelly down here. Every interactive map I checked said the only reliable source was under Hyrule Castle, which checks out. That's the place I found it, but I needed that jelly to beat Muktarok. I'm not claiming this isn't viable, I honestly don't have enough information. But if you want some anecdotal data, I did spend 35 hours running around down here, and I only ever found it under Hyrule Castle. So even if there are blue chew jellies down here, without blood moons or item duplication, it doesn't seem like there would be enough to do the whole fire area. At least that's a mechanic we know would work. A strange suggestion that I got by quite a few people was, why don't you spin with a two-handed weapon to put out the fire? What? Why are you guys all talking about this like it's a thing? It's a boatload of you too. I decided to try it for myself and yeah, it didn't work. I was really confused about this one. You guys said it definitely worked in Breath of the Wild, but weren't sure if it was patched for the sequel. I have never heard of this glitch, and I'm pretty up to speed on Breath of the Wild. I spent a few minutes Googling this spin glitch and came up with nothing. That's when I decided to just boot the game up for myself. Alright, here we are. And what? This is a thing? This has always been a thing? You don't even have to spin for too long, and it works every time? Wow. What an oversight. But no, this is not in Tears of the Kingdom. Still really cool though. Before getting to the main event, I want to quickly address Amiibo. I banned the use of Amiibo in this challenge, but I did briefly entertain the idea of using them to beat the heat. It was a moment of weakness, and I did not go through with it. I looked through a bunch of loot tables and couldn't find either of the critters that grant the fireproof effect when cooked into elixirs. Because of that, I wrote them off entirely. Since then, it's been brought to my attention that you can actually get a helmet from the Daruk Amiibo that grants the fireproof status effect. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that. I've never bought an Amiibo in my life. When I said I bought a Guardian Amiibo in the Depths video, I actually just bought a bunch of NFC cards. You can fund more fraud and lies on my Patreon. Either way, Amiibo were banned, so that wouldn't have helped. The most prevalent suggestion by far was the water hydrant item. This one solution was suggested by 40 different people. This guy suggested it 3 times, thanks. This seems like the golden ticket at first. It shoots out water, and touching any of the water makes you immune to fire for 20 seconds. You can take it with you, so it's convenient too. Not only that, but there's one in the fire temple that's always turned on and doesn't use any battery power. Well, gee willikers, where do I sign up? Hold on there, Eager Beaver. The hydrant comes with several drawbacks. First of all, there just aren't any in the depths. Of the 2 device dispensers down here, neither of them ever drop hydrants. That means you need to grab one of the naturally occurring hydrants like the ones in the fire temple. But at least that one has infinite battery, right? That's true, but taking this one a certain distance from the temple automatically despawns it. Well, that's less useful. You can stick something to it with Ultra Hand and summon it with auto build, but that'll use your battery and cost Zonite every time you summon it. What about fusing it to your shield? For some reason, water from a hydrant shield doesn't affect Link. I tried for like 5 minutes and it's just not happening. Take it up with the developers, I guess. All in all, what seemed like a silver bullet to trivialize the fire area is, at best, a minor optimization. You still need to get to the fire temple to even find the hydrant, and then you need to use 6 Zonite to summon it every 20 seconds or so. If you have trouble getting to the fire temple though, you can find a sprinkler system schematic from a Yiga outpost, but that costs 15 Zonite to summon every time. As limited as it is, auto-building a hydrant is the only solution I'd feel comfortable calling superior to the one I used in my challenge. If I had known about this strategy, I definitely would have done it myself. Still, I think my solution definitely had the most entertainment value. For you, not for me. Doing that for 3.5 hours was really boring. I will say, any of these optimizations definitely would have made the Scorching Coliseum less stressful. That's for sure. Well, that was 8 minutes of talking about obscure Tears of the Kingdom mechanics. Good times. Was I supposed to be working on something else? Some hour-long challenge that's gonna blow your minds? A video that can't even be mentioned by name because its very title is a spoiler? Well, if I can't remember, it must not be that important.